días, it's Coach Corley. How are you guys all doing? Oh, we got 2 people already. Today we are going to be doing a new recipe in the kitchen, and we are going to be doing a breakfast recipe, or actually it could be not just a breakfast recipe, it could be an afternoon recipe. It could be, a midday snack if you are at home during the summer. It could even be dinner, all right, if you like breakfast for dinner. I'm a big fan of breakfast for dinner. So we are going to continue with our theme this week of, learning how to take care of our bodies, filling them with really good, high quality food, high xiao, that will allow us to perform to our best level, so that when we're in a practice, we are not we're not slagging behind. We're not dragging our bodies through the water. We're able to get to a practice with lots of energy, and then refueling our body afterwards with the correct kinds of food. Okay. So going back through the week, just to review, remember we've talked a lot about proteins, fats, carbs, sugars. All right. We've talked about how to, what are good fats, things like avocados, nuts, cheese can be a good fat as well. All right. Like avocados, nuts, cheese, all of those really good. Nut butters are a very good source of fat. What are good types of protein? All right. You can have multiple types of protein. If you don't like to eat meat, right, you can do beans are a very good source of protein if you don't eat meat. All right. If you don't eat meat for whatever reason, beans are a very good source. Tofu, I know some people get protein from there. All right. Beans, legumes are good sources of protein. All right. But if you can't eat meat or animal products, eggs, beef, pork, chicken, the whole fish is a really good one. There's lots of vitamins and minerals, including iodine, lots of good stuff for your body. So now it's taking these ingredients, and you can do all kinds of things with those ingredients. They start out as very basic, and you can make them very, very tasty, but you can also make them very, very unhealthy or very healthy for your body. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do something I like to make. I like to make pepperoni pizza scrambled eggs, which sounds really gross. It sounds really gross, but hold on. All right. So this is one thing that I like to eat one thing I like to eat a lot when I come home from coaching, especially DCS, as you guys know, I teach all day, and then I get up. So then I come to DCS, and sometimes don't get home until like almost 9:00 at night. And so then by that point, I'm tired, and I need something that's quick and easy to fix. That's not going to sludge me down, that it's going to make me feel gross and yucky when I wake up. All right. So what I like to do is I call it pepperoni pizza, scrambled eggs. And it's a couple of things. So I have an egg. I usually make 2 eggs with it, but I'm not super, super hungry right now. I have matzah. It's just the whole milk mozzarella cheese, some pepperoni, butter, a little bit of heavy cream. All right. And I've got a pan. All right. And we're gonna work on learning how to do a cool version of scrambled eggs. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn my stovetop to about medium high heat. And before you ever put anything in the stove, in the pan, you actually want to let the pan heat up on its own. All right. This is a trick I learned from a Gordon Ramsay video. And what happens is if you just let the pan heat up, what happens is you're not going to end up cooking the butter or oil spray or whatever you may spray in there that's anti-stick. You're not going to cook it before you even start putting things in there. So I like to use butter. I'm not a big cooking spray person. I like butter, which is not always the healthiest thing, but in moderation, it's just fine. Okay. So this butter's a tasty thing, right? But make sure you don't just put the whole stick in there, right? It's to be eaten in moderation. So I like butter with my scrambled eggs. All right. So while this is heating up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my eggs ready. Now, when I do my eggs, I like to add, just because I feel it makes them a little bit richer, I add just the very smallest amount of like heavy cream or half and half, or you can even do milk. To me, it makes them taste a little richer and not as like super eggy. So you just whisk your eggs up like this with a fork, whisking away from you, because if you whisk towards you, you don't want to get it all over you. All right. So after I've done that, I'm going to add a little bit, just a little bit of salt. Just a little bit of salt. Always pour it out in your hand before you decide to dump the whole jar in there. It's not going to go well. All right. So I'm going to just pour just a tiny bit of salt. You can do sea salt, iodized salt, whatever kind of salt, and just a little bit of black pepper to season it. Okay. Mix that in there again. Okay. So it's heating up a little bit. It's still not as warm as I would like it. All right. Remember, if you're here, just put your name so I know that you're here. All right. I know a lot of you guys, did we all get the email? We're going to be starting Dryland on Monday. There's some very exciting stuff. We're going to finally get to see everybody. We're going to start to hopefully move back to a little bit of normalcy. Even if we don't get in the pool, we do get to see, we will start to be moving towards that. So while this is still heating up, what I like to do is I'll take because I only have one egg, I'll only take about 3 to 5 small pepperonis. This is just the kind that I found at Kroger first. Boar's Head pepperoni. It was right in the front of the store. All right, and what I do is I will take it and I will cut it up into little tiny bits. And I'll just cut up so that way I don't have these big old honking pepperoni slices in my eggs. And I'll cut them up into little bits about this big. And they're very tasty. Okay, so my pan's warm. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of butter in there. Not a whole lot. Not even a tablespoon. Now you can use cooking spray. You can use coconut oil. I like butter. To each their own. All right. And what I'm going to do is, let me tilt this down so that you can see. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the knife. And I'm just going to kind of, move the butter around so it doesn't all stay in one place. All right, so I've kind of buttered the pan. And one way to tell if your pan is hot enough is you'll see the butter start to bubble, which you can't really get super close up here. All right, and now for the pepperoni pizza element. What I'll do first is I like to melt the cheese because you want that cheese good and melty before you ever pour those eggs in, all right? So I prefer whole milk mozzarella. And I'm just going to put it in the center of my pan and let it get a little melty. I'm just going to pour that in there. I like my cheese to be a lot meltier. You can leave it if you want to put it in there later. It is important, though, that if you're going to put your cheese in there later, that you let it kind of warm up to room temperature. Because if you put it in there while it's cold, it can mess up your eggs and they'll get all gross. All right. So it's melting very nicely. It's warming up. I think I might want a little bit more cheese. I want this to be cheesy, tasty. Okay. All right, so those are warm now. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pour my eggs in, all right? I'm going to pour those eggs in. Turn the heat up just a little bit. All right. All right, now for scrambled eggs, if you want really good scrambled eggs, you don't want to move them around a whole bunch. So that'll actually make them really tough and kind of gross. All right. So while those are starting to cook, I'm going to sprinkle in my pepperoni. I'm going to sprinkle in my pepperoni. Now you can add all kinds of stuff to this. You can add salami, onions, peppers, mushrooms. You pretty much can put any pizza topping. I wouldn't recommend pineapple in scrambled eggs. I don't think that would go well, but you know, I'm sure it's someone's cup of tea. So just as I start to see, it's going to get really light yellow on the sides. And you can just move it in slowly, separating it out, mixing that cheese in with the eggs. And this is one egg, so it's not going to take very long at all. It's a really quick dinner to make. I make it a good bit, especially for some variety, especially on the nights if I get back really late. So see, all right. So this is good. It's got proteins, it's got fats, and I'm going to put it on a plate that I forgot to get out. Or I'm going to put it in a bowl. All right, I'm going to immediately turn my stove off, kitchen safety. All right, and then they're all going to be done. And one safety trick, actually a cleaning trick that I use, especially when I'm in my kitchen, is I will put some water in the pan, especially if I've cooked eggs or something that tends to be hard to get out of a pan. I just put water in my pan. I turn the handle away from the edge in case anybody bumps it, and that way nobody touches the hot stove, and it helps lift those difficult foods off. All right, and that is pepperoni pizza eggs. All right, that's pepperoni pizza scrambled eggs. It's very good. I enjoy it a lot. Lots of cheese. Very tasty. All right. And this is a good dinner, breakfast. It's got a lot of flavor. It's very easy to make. It took me less than a few minutes. If you don't like eggs, I like part of the reason I like it is it doesn't have a super like scrambled egg flavor. You got protein, you got good fats, and overall, it's very, very tasty. Okay? So, making sure we clean up. That is a good breakfast recipe. All right? That's a very good breakfast recipe. Sometimes I know we don't have time in the morning to, you know, make breakfast like that. But, you know, on a Saturday morning, if we have time, this is a good, or even on a Sunday morning, this is a really good Sunday morning treat. And it's very, very good. All right. So on Wednesday, I told you guys that we would be talking about fueling our body throughout the day. All right. So fueling our body throughout the day means that you are taking care of your body all day long with food. All right. Food is something that is very important to our bodies that helps us do a variety of things. You know, have we ever heard the phrase, you know, what you put in is what you get out? Well, it's just that way with food. If we put crummy, junky, super sugary, high processed food in our body, we're not going to get peak performance out. All right. We're going to feel sluggish. We're going to feel yucky. We're going to feel like just super gross. So one of the ways that we can put a peak performance in is fueling ourselves with good food. So for instance, something that's tasty, it's got, you know, a little bit of heavy cream and some butter, which are just fine as long as you're using them in moderation. You've got lots of protein, lots of vitamins and minerals from the egg yolk. You've got lots of protein from the egg white. You've got protein from the pepperoni. You've got protein from the cheese. All right, so it's a good, healthy packed meal, and it actually keeps you full, you know, and it's very light. It's not going to be something that you're going to go Ooh, afterwards, all right? So in the morning, we want to start with good food, all right? So this is a good morning meal, but you may need something a little bit more than this, because I know for many of you guys, you may be getting up and eating breakfast at 7, some of you guys 6:30, 7:30, and you may not eat again until 12 o'clock. So that is a 5-hour window. And some of you guys have snack time, but some of you don't. All right. So you may be getting up and eating breakfast at 6:30, 7 o'clock, and then not eating again for almost another 6 hours. That is a very long time to go without food. All right. That's a very long time to go, without any kind of, nourishment and, making sure. So when you do that, if you're in that type of situation, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're eating a meal that's going to last you through all those. All right. And you'll also find that if you're full, it's a lot easier to pay attention in class. If you eat something like a scrambled egg, maybe a half a banana and a glass of water, or maybe milk, you'll find that it's a lot easier to pay attention in class. It's a lot easier to stay awake. All right. And then than eating maybe, let's say, a donut or a pastry or just like a cup of coffee or whatever you may drink in the morning, or just a cup of juice, or even a bowl of cereal. A bowl of cereal is not actually super filling. All right. A bowl of cereal, if you notice it, a lot of times if you eat something like a bowl of cereal, about 30 to 45 minutes later, especially if it's a very high sugary cereal, so things like, like Cocoa Puffs or Reese's Pieces or Cinnamon Toast Crunch, those cereals have a lot of sugar in them. All right. They have a lot of sugar, like Captain Crunch. They have a lot of sugar, and they'll raise that blood sugar up really high, and then they'll drop it, and you're going to be very hungry. You're going to have trouble paying attention in class. All right. And it's going to be a lot more difficult for you. And then by the time you get to lunch, you're going to be starving. All right. So what we want to do is morning, you want to have a nice protein. Oh, hey, Dad.
Hello.
Do you want to say hey to everyone?
Hey, everyone.
He says hello, everyone. So what you want to do is you want to have a good protein. So, for instance, eggs. And Dad, would you like to try the pepperoni pizza eggs? Pepperoni pizza is very good. We're waiting for the reviews.
Very good.
He says they're very good. See, we already got an approval. Okay. So, starting our morning, we have protein, all right, such as eggs. You could do pepperoni pizza eggs. You could do supreme pizza eggs. You could just do cheese eggs, all right? So we want a nice protein, a fruit to help us provide with some fiber, some protein and fiber to hold that on. You can do eggs, banana and some peanut butter, or eggs, an apple and some almond butter. All right. So mix those combinations together, and that'll help fill you up a lot longer than a bowl of frosted flakes. All right. So when we get to lunch, all right, if we remember all the way back on Monday, I made that nice little sandwich. You can make a bigger version of it with some sort of lunch meat, a cheese. You can add lettuce, tomato, variety of things, and then make sure you have a fruit, and make sure you have a vegetable. Every day you should be eating something that is crunchy. All right, you should be eating something that is fresh every day. All right, celery, squash, cucumbers, zucchini, carrots, bell peppers. Just there's a whole bunch of stuff out there that you can eat that are broccoli is another one, that are good for you, that are crunchy. You need to be eating vegetables, fresh vegetables, not just canned or cooked in something. Make sure you're eating a fresh vegetable. A good way, if you don't like fresh vegetables, like just raw vegetables, you can eat steaming them helps them, all right? But if you cook vegetables too much, you actually cook the nutrients out, and you're not going to be getting the maximum benefits. But steaming is a good way to do that. And you can steam them with some salt and pepper, add some different seasonings. All right. So making sure at lunch you're having a protein, a good fat, good proteins, good fats, good sugars such as fruits. All right. And you can always have something a little sweet. So maybe like a few Oreos, or don't feel like you can't have those. All right. Remember, we just want moderation. All right. We don't want the majority of your lunch to be, a white bread sandwich with some sort of, just like a whole bunch of like candied ham and a whole bunch of like preservatives and sugars packed onto it. And then, you feel like ugh, later in the day. All right. So making sure you've got fresh vegetables, meats, proteins, and good sugars to balance out, maybe a candy bar or a cookie or something to balance out those. Something to balance out those. Now, if you are used to cooking, so oh my goodness, yes, you can definitely try to make them. Make sure you have parent supervision near a stove. If you're not used to cooking by yourself, make sure you have parent supervision to help you. Okay. And then for dinner, let's say, so by the time that we get to lunch, you guys, your next thing you're going to need to be eating is a snack before practice. All right. A snack before practice. Remember, we talked about what belongs in those. And if you can't remember, you can go watch those videos from Monday and Wednesday. All right. So then finally, dinner. Often, I know you guys are not in control of what is for dinner, but making sure that you get a good dinner that is, you have fresh vegetables or steamed vegetables. There's not a whole lot of like no junk food. All right. And that will help power you through your day with good nutrition that will help keep you stable throughout the day and help you perform to the best of your ability as a swimmer. All right. So that wraps up our nutrition segment. And I'm going to take a moment to put this up in the fridge. Alrighty. So I'm going to take you guys outside really quickly to see what my dogs are doing. We're going to take a field trip. Alrighty. Okay, so as a lot of you guys know, as we talked about earlier in this video, we are going to be starting Dryland on Monday, May 11th. All right, Monday, May 11th. And if you guys have gotten to see it, you have seen that you're divided up into 3 different groups with Coach Jared, Coach Trey, and Coach Lindsay. And I will not be joining Dryland on Monday, May 11th. And I just wanted to give you guys a heads up to reassure you guys, this is Cowboy. He's trying to become a YouTube star. All right, so I just wanted to give you guys a heads up as to what's going on. A couple of weeks ago, they found a lump kind of on a place what's called my thyroid gland. All right, it's called my thyroid gland. And the doctors are, we had it looked at, and the doctors are very concerned about it. And so on Monday, what I'm going to be getting done is I'm going to be getting done what's called a thyroidectomy. All right, so they're very worried about it. And what they're going to do is they're going to take my thyroid gland out. So I had to have surgery on it. And I want to assure you guys it's very low risk. All right. It only takes about, anywhere from about 1 to 3 hours. And it'll take me about 2 weeks. Okay. So for about 2 weeks, I'll be gone. All right. I'm just recovering from surgery. So I am not going anywhere. All right. I'm not going anywhere. They're just going to be removing it and just, watching it, making sure it's okay. And then afterwards, I'll be back hopefully by the time that we start getting into June, and I'll be getting to see you guys and come and visit you guys at Dryland, and I'll have a really cool scar. All right, so hopefully I'll have a pretty cool scar and we'll get to do some cool stuff and I'll get to see you guys. All right, so I just wanted to, make sure, that you guys are not worried. All right, everything is going to be completely fine. All right, and I'll be thinking about you guys and jealous that you guys get to see Coach Trey and Coach Lindsay. And I better have really, really good reports. All right, you've been working on your abs. All right, holding that belly button to your spine and not doing anything crazy. All right, so that is it for today. If you have any questions or you need any help, you guys can email me. My email is on the DCS website. All right, my email is on the DCS website, and I will see you guys hopefully in about 2 weeks. with a super cool scar. All right. Have a good day. You guys are awesome. And I look forward to seeing you in person soon. All right. Bye, guys. Have a good day.